pansies and leaves and violas are done with stroke work. If you're not familiar with stroke work, it's not that difficult, just takes a little bit of practice. And if you're a little rusty, you can practice on your palette paper, tracing paper, some poster board, whatever you have handy until you go on to your piece. So get yourself a cup of coffee, your brushes, and let's get started. And just continue to use this same blending strip. See how they're it's like they're stacked top of each other. Gets dry, you just pick up a little bit more paint. The final one we can just tuck under. And after this, be very good with strokes. Flatten it down, twist it a little bit, lift up, pull it into the center. And just like we did with the flowers, you'll have to just keep picking up, more paint in your brush, possibly after every stroke. So just flatten out your brush, pick it up and pull it, lift it as it's coming towards the center vein. Just really flatten it down here, curve it around, and pretend there's a vein line here, and then you're going to that vein line. And just kind of work it back and forth, making it, somewhat translucent on the left side. And you see how much lighter that is when you don't put the other color in there. But we do want this front petal light. And we need to put just a little more dark in here before we start the line work. If we put line work on here that's too dark, all at once, what's going to happen is it's going to look like it's pasted on instead of, part of the flower and inside the flower. What you have to do to take care of that is to put some darker value in here. We're going to stretch that out a ways, kind of like we have here. It just needs to be a little darker. And then we're going to start our line work. But when we start the line work, it's not going to go out as far as this dark that we're going to put on right now. It's going to start being stacked on top of each other within a smaller area as far as, the length of it is going to be shorter. For this one, that's a violet area. So I'm going to brush mix some red, violet, and blue together, and that makes a violet. See how that looks. And I'm going to use the chisel of my brush and just, I do like that color. It's going to dry a little bit darker, but let me just pick up a little bit more paint. You want this to be translucent. And so what I'm doing, I'm pulling with my chisel, and we're going to start forming these lines. Do you see how it's irregular here? It's not like, meaning I don't have these like straight across all lined up. You're going to pull from the very center of the flower, pull down, and as you're pulling down, just lift up the brush. And there's straight through the center. Think of a fan shape. And as you go up, as I go up to the right, they're getting shorter in length. This extender medium allows this to cooperate very well. Again, this is within a smaller area, and I do want it to look violet when I put it on here. Not just, it just looks dark right now. So if that happens, just pick up some more Doxine purple and spread that out so it gets in, because that color is very powerful. Still looks just very dark, doesn't it? So therefore, I'm going to pick up a little bit of white. Just a little bit, and that's going to give us color. See if that looks violet. That does look more violet. But you have to just really be careful that it's not lighter than what is underneath it. Well, now these are really starting to look like pansies. The top ones are purple, the middle ones are warm white, and the bottom are yellow. And then I did a little, just some little buds here and there. But you know, the full flowers are the cutest. But every once in a while we have something peeking behind, just to add variety. Then you're just gonna set your brush down, and I'm up on the tip of the brush. I'm not laying it flat because the flower is not that big. So I've got to fit this brush within this little area. And again, I'm using these as a guide. And then the light's going to go to the inside. So then flip your brush over. Pull it all the way to the middle. And I've got my brush sideways. And then set it down and pull it into the middle. The yellow ones, we're going to brush mix some Hansa yellow plus yellow oxide together. And those, I'm going to turn this upside down and pull this towards me. So it'll be 2 strokes. Flatten it out at the bottom, swing it to the left, do the same, swing it to the right, and then you have just a little fatter stroke.